Well, good evening YouTube and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino and we're looking at a beer from the Ottawa region, from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. This is Kichesippi, and Kichesippi's Hell or High Water, so it's going to be probably a Hellas lager is my guess, maybe a Hellas Bock. 4.8% alcohol by volume. Bang. Brewed by Kichesippi Beer Company on Campbell Avenue. Yeah. So, I've only had a couple beers from Kichesippi. I don't even remember what their original beer was. I had that when they first opened. I think it was just Kichesippi Blonde or something like that. And then I had a Radler that Guy from Beer Guy Reviews had shared with me at his house, and I believe it was me, him, and Dale from Brew By Me that reviewed it, and that was not a beer for me. And now we have this. So, crystal clear, golden color, bright white head, snap, crackle, pop. The head's not going to sit around very long. You can actually see the bubbles opening up on the top. Camera's too far away for me to show it to you now. Here's the dilemmas I have. When I use a cell phone to record these videos, you're either way too close or way too far away for me to do anything. Dilemmas. Dilemmas. First world problems. Smell. Nothing. Like literally nothing. I'm not even picking up like water, like the different water notes that you could get from like hard or soft water. I'm not picking up yeast. I'm not picking up oxidization. I'm not picking up anything out of the glass. Can? Out of the can? Kind of Euro lagered, a little bit sulfuric, kind of like the when you walk into a washroom at a bar, that kind of like stale cleaner and urine smell. You know, little sweet, little stale, little urine-like. But I'm not saying something bad about the beer because I get all the people that get all worked up on the keyboard. No, basically, that's what a lot of Euro lagers smell like to me. A lot of Euro lagers give off those notes to me, either sulfuric or tinny or kind of like the stale washroom smell. I get that on a lot of them. So it's not bad. I mean, stylistically, it kind of smells like what I'm used to for the range. Let's try the beer. Cheers. Okay. Is this a beer that you could share with anybody, like a German lager should be, or a Helles usually would be, or something like that? I don't really think so. This reminds me a lot of other craft breweries doing German lagers or light lagers or American adjunct lagers. It tastes a lot like that, but with a lot more hops on the background. And, I mean, yeah, if what you want is a lot more hops, that's great, but most people, especially people that are used to big brand beers, aren't going to look at a Hell or High Water, which is obviously a play on a Helles. They're going to get that part, and then they're going to read it that says it's a German lager, and they're going to be like, oh, excuse me, using Munich yeasts and noble hops, and they're going to be like, yeah, I like those type of beers, and they're going to buy this, and they're not going to like it. And then they're going to be like, oh, all those craft beers suck. If you're a craft brewery, and you're doing a predominantly macro style, you have the problem first off that you're going to cost more because of the fact that you're using real ingredients. You're not using extracts. You're not using using fillers, all that sort of stuff. But you also have to remember that you're not making a beer that your major clientele is probably going to move towards. You're making a beer that you're trying to just get into a bar, onto a tap, or to have for somebody that's coming in with their buddies that are craft beer fans. Because you always have that one guy that comes into a craft brewery with his buddies and he's like, I don't know what to drink, this isn't the stuff I drink. So that's where something like this would come into effect. Or they go into the brewery with their buddies, sit down at the tap room and are like and try everything and don't find anything even close. This could have filled that niche. This could have filled that gap. But instead, it's too hoppy for that. I mean, I still taste the noble hops on the back of my palate. They're grassy, they're earthy, they're dirty. They're not as dirty as and copper coiny, say, as an English hop, but just earthy, grassy, weedy even, like when you just cut through a patch of stinkweed, that type of thing. But the forefront, straw, a little bit of neutral sweetness, a little bit of caramel taste, basically exactly what you'd expect from the style. Back end, a little bit of that caramel taste again, a tiny touch of tinniness, and then those noble hops, and they're just building up on the back of your palate. I don't actually dislike this beer. I think it's made fairly well, but I dislike the imagination of it, shall we say. If this is what I'm going to drink, if I'm going to pick up a Hellebach or a Helles Lager or anything like that, I want it to basically be tasteless. Maybe a little bit of hops here, a little bit of malt there, but not a lot of hops. It just builds on the back of the palate. Out of 10, probably a 6. I mean, I can't buy this and share it with my dad. I can't buy this and share it with my stepdad. Maybe DJ Crazy Chris, but I don't think I could even get him to drink it with me. And it's too much like a German export lager for me to really get behind. I mean, if there was a lot more malty forefront and it just became like a craft envisioned Helles lager, I could get behind that. But the forefront is so muted that it's obviously trying to be a regular Helles lager, but hopped up on the back end, which is what craft beer seems to think that everything has to be, just hopped up. Yeah, there's no faults in it. I just don't care for it. Bye.